we're not trying to reveal anything, that will endanger anyone, but instead give an idea as to why Israel does what it does, feeling its back is against the wall. It doesn't have any choice. That means it does engage in murder against its enemies, much as the U.S. now, of course, uses drone aircraft to kill terrorists and sometimes by accident hit some civilians. The Israelis actually have been remarkably successful in these attacks in innovative ways against terrorist groups for decades.
So there's nothing in this book that any enemies of Israel would read and get information that they don't have right now.
I would agree with that statement, and I think there are a lot of people who would say, well, there's stuff in this book that enemies of Israel, it might shake them up a little bit and say, whoa, is that what they're able to do? Because again and again, going back to 1948 and the independence of that tiny country, they've done things that you'd expect only a big country could do. And these days, with computers and drone aircraft and radar and spies and intercepting messages, the Israelis, with their high tech, are way ahead of their neighbors, way ahead. So, small country that's really a big power in the Middle East. I think everyone deserves to know that. I'm not saying that's dangerous or good or bad, but as a historian and journalist, I'm saying that is the situation.
Who started the Six-Day War? What country?
Well, in Spies Against Armageddon, we look at it from an intelligence point of view. And you may recall that the president of Egypt at the time was Nasser. And so Gamal Abdel Nasser ordered the UN peace observers who had been there as a result of a previous war in 1956. He ordered them to leave. So Nasser said, I'm getting the UN out of here. We're moving the Egyptian army in. We're going to confront the Zionists and confront Israel. The Israelis felt very alarmed, especially when Nasser blockaded all shipping. He wouldn't allow ships to approach Israel. Israel considered that an act of war, and it turned out that for years, they'd been gathering pinpoint intelligence inside Egypt, including highly placed people acting as Germans, acting as others inside Cairo. And they were doing the same in Damascus, Syria, too, another Arab country. In that case, there was an Israeli who just posed as an Arab for years and got to be a friend of the president of Syria. We write about them. And that means that Israel was ready. When the prime minister said, what can we do to break this blockade? Well, sir, we could do a surprise attack. So in June of 1967, the Israelis actually struck first. They say it was an act of war by the Egyptians to blockade the shipping. So I guess all in all, I'd say that Nasser started the war, but when it comes to the shooting war, it was the Israeli Air Force, which took out the Arab Air Forces just like that. Well, the Air Force was destroyed in 6 hours, and then the troops moved forward, and within 6 days, Israel had defeated Egypt, Syria, and Jordan.